Oh, yeah. Yeah. And he very specifically requested that.
Yeah.
I was curious why. And I just like it. Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't want you're going to let that. Yeah. Not too big. But
Yeah.
How are you? Come back and see. Yeah, I've been trying to. Good, yeah, when they're gonna be ready to rock. So far, they're gonna be on their title, get their own, they said, they asked if we wanted to put the, like the RF. I said, if we wanted to, we could just go buy it and put it in the bureau up there. Then I specialized. Like that. Or something, so like, can you usually just, and then the other things with. I know. Work on it, maintenance, make sure
I'm Jennifer. I'm ready when you are. Okay, good evening.
What?
Oh, I don't know. Good evening, everybody. I would officially like to call the City of Nisswa regular council meeting on this Tuesday, April 21st, 2026 to order at 6:01 PM. I just wanted to note, the past few meetings, we've had a lot of engaged citizens show up to those meetings, and that's wonderful. Public interest, involvement, and engagement is a great thing for our city at any level of government, especially here in Nisswa. My intent and goal for all meetings moving forward is to ensure that we have an efficient, professional, and policy-driven discussion conducted with proper decorum and respect for council members, for respecting the presiding officer, for respecting our city partners and staff, and as well, all of you in attendance at our meetings. So for last month's meeting, we apologize for the behavior that we engaged in, and we look forward to a positive and productive meeting tonight and for all meetings moving forward. And with that, let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, our first item tonight is to approve the agenda. I would entertain a motion from council.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion by Councilmember Zahn, second by Councilmember London. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries and our agenda is approved. Next up is a consent calendar. Notice to the public, all matters listed on the consent calendar are considered routine by the council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless good cause is shown prior to the time council votes on the motion. Councilmember Zahn.
I'll make the motion. I just have a question once we get a motion in a second. I make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Zahn, second by Councilmember London. Is there any discussion? Council members on?
Yeah, question for Miss Amber in regards to your department report, swept the Gull Lake Trail. Is that a routine item that we are doing for the entire Gull Lake Trail that the city of Nisswa is? Because it's been a while since we had the Gull Lake Steering Trail Committee, and
Yes, it's regular, throughout the season. Spring needs obviously more. It was swept, it snowed, it will be swept again.
Okay.
So it is routine throughout the season, probably a handful of times depending on, rain events and things like that. And then the final section of the trail is not complete, so that is not swept.
noted. No further questions.
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the consent calendar, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next up on the agenda, we have open forum. And first up, I can't see everyone here. We have the Central Minnesota Council Scouting America. Do we have, oh, there you are, Isaiah, and I don't know if Ken is here as well. Oh, okay, if you want to just approach the microphone, and I'll just share, last week, I was invited to attend a Lakes Area Leadership Breakfast for the Friends of Scouting Central Minnesota Council Scouting America. Isaiah Anderson is the district executive, and we wanted to invite him here tonight to take a few moments to share with our city all the great work and a little bit about the organization.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for the great introduction for me, and nice to meet all you guys on the board. Like Jennifer said, my name is Isaiah Anderson. I serve as the district executive for the Pine Tree District. If you guys don't know what the Pine Tree District is, it runs 4 counties. So Crow Wing is our largest county, and then Aitkin, Morrison, and Cass counties. So my main responsibility in order is to grow scouting. What that means is going to schools, recruiting youth for our top-notch programs, partnering with community members, partnering with businesses to grow scouting with events, all that fun stuff. I brought some of these some of these like program booklets that we have that I wanted to share with you, council board members. Parker Scout Reservation is home right in Nisswa, Minnesota. If you guys seen any news stories, we have a castle up here. It's called Miller Castle. It was built back in 2008. It's one of those really cool castles that draws every kid, adult to our camp, to our area, just to bring that attention. But scouting is forever prevalent up in this area. We currently do not have a unit, but we do have Brainerd units that comes up here. Last month, I want to say our Brainerd troop actually hosted a fish fry up here for the community as well. That was a huge hit. And we do so much different volunteerisms. Some different stats that I want to show tell you guys about is this is nationally, this isn't locally. I forgot my local one here, but 1 million youth served across all of our programmings nationwide. We have 175,000 girls and young women a part of our program, 475 adult leaders and volunteers that helps take place and help our youth, 200 councils across the nation. 1.3 million merit badges has been awarded just last year for all of our scouts. 30,000 young men and women has earned the rank of Eagle, and I am one of them from 2019. And then 7.1 million hours of service are donated back to our community. So that's just some of the top numbers. Here's just a little booklet you guys can pass around as well that kind of goes over more stats. But I wanted to thank you guys so much for allowing me to come here. And if you guys ever have any needs within the community that you want scouts to help at, parades, stuff like that, we would love to have scouts come up here and be more relevant up in Nisswa as well. So thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you. Oh, Isaiah, before you step away from the podium, if anyone wants to learn more or donate, is there a specific website they could go to?
Yes, if you guys want to learn more or donate, go to www.scoutingcmc.org. And there's a give button and there's all of our information right there. So, but yeah, thank you guys again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, next up under open forum is our public comment window. If anyone has anything they would like to address for the council, you can approach the microphone. We would just ask that you state your first name, your last name, your address, and then you will have 2 minutes. We want to make sure everyone gets the equal amount of time. Going once, going twice.
Good evening, Council. Chief Bailey here. My address is on County Road 18 and Main Street over here at the fire hall. So this social media stuff is really getting out of control. At no point has the fire department ever came to the city and asked the city to put up a water tower to fill our water tenders. That has never happened. So we're not the drive behind the water tower. The other thing, a new fire hall. In 10 years from now, we're going to be outgrown in the building that we have today. OSHA is going to squeeze us out. If and when that comes, we're going to have to explore expansion, moving, something. So that's the fire hall rumor that's floating around out there for $30 million. That's not the case. The other rumor that we're running around that's running this thing is a helipad. For everybody in this room that doesn't know, we have a helipad at our current fire hall now. It's our parking lot. That's it. I'm not asking the city if and when we move our fire hall, like I say, if and when, to build a $100,000 helipad to put in that field out there if it were to happen. That's not a case. It's our parking lot. That's it. So the social media stuff is starting to rub me wrong, and I'm going to make a formal response on social media to all these crazy allocations that are coming down, unless I'm told not to. But that's what something needs to happen, because it's just the same 4 people driving this time in and time out. And then when you get questioned at Holiday Gas Station or Schaefer's Foods or wherever you're at, why do you need a $30 million fire hall that was never asked for? I don't feel is fair. And the last thing, anybody wants to talk to me about any of these subjects, reach out. The number here, 218-963-4444, and they can get a hold of me at any time. I'll have a face-to-face conversation about any of these rumors, anytime, anywhere. Just let me know. Thank you.
2 minutes. Thank you. Anyone else that would like to come up and address council for public comment? Going once, going twice. Okay, we will move on to the next item on our agenda, which are our city reports, and we will start with our city attorney, Mr. Pearson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Nothing specific here. I've got other agenda items that I'll speak to as they come up, but nothing at this point.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have our city engineer, Mr. Reese. Any update on your end?
Just to report that we're continuing with city street improvements slated for 2026 and wrapping up Gull Lake Trail project from last year, along with the additional bathroom project that was added on. So.
Thank you. Any questions from council for our city attorney or city engineer? Okay, we will move on. Next is our public hearing. So we have our Economic Development Authority resolution, and that's the first item. Mr. Pearson, I'll turn it to you first.
Thank you, Ms. Carnahan. At the last meeting, council meeting, the council received a draft enabling resolution. This is the statutory resolution required to form the EDA. It was indicated then that a public hearing is necessary in order to enact this enabling resolution. So that's what's happening tonight. A public hearing will have to be opened in case anybody wants to comment on this. Would note also that the enabling resolution that you had in front of you was a draft at the last meeting. What you've got in front of you tonight now is some red lines and a clean copy of that. It's been revised since you were here in March. not substantive changes necessarily, some statutory revisions and a reference to the fact that we believe that an EDA existed in the city formerly, but we don't have information about how it was enabled and if and how it was disbanded. So this is meant to address that also. And to the extent that it was enabled and it was disbanded, that the provisions in this enabling resolution would replace any former enabling resolutions or disbandment that occurred in the past. I'm here for questions.
I'll open up to council for any questions. Councilmember Hall,
I don't have any right now.
Councilmember Zahn,
From the red line from the draft to the proposed. Section 3, Mr. City Attorney, in regards to the EDA shall be governed by a board of 5 commissioners, 2 of whom must be members of the city council pursuant to state statute. Do we have the ability still to increase that number, modify that number at this point?
We do. I should have said too that in concert with this tonight and in sequential order, the enabling resolution needs to be approved. If there were to be a change on that to entertain the idea of a 7-member council, then you could still pass this resolution subject to that division. Also in your packet is an organizing resolution. So a secondary resolution, which would, I think at this point makes reference to, again, a 5-person EDA. If you wanted that changed when you get to that, that could be revised as follows. However, I don't know that that organizing resolution is ripe to be passed tonight because of some conversations you need to have about 5 versus 7. And then obviously filling in appointees and officers among the appointees once they're made. So I think that's probably something to occur in May. But Jesse, to answer your question, if it's the council's pleasure to entertain the idea of a 7-member EDA instead of 5, then again, you could approve this resolution subject to those changes.
Personal preference would be that we actually have, I think, a total of 10 seats up here, if I'm not off on my math, or 9. I would like to propose 7, and on that basis, I think still maintain 2 members from the council, open for discussion with the rest of.
Councilmember London, do you have any,
Nothing to-
Councilmember Fraley, thoughts on that? Questions, comments?
I'm fine with that change.
Councilmember Hall?
I'm fine with that change.
Yeah, and I would agree. I'm fine with the change too, because I think if we expand it to 7, then we're including more members of the public, which is a good thing because we want to involve more of our residents, citizens, business owners in this process, and more individuals brings more ideas and more thinking. So
Another item, if I may, on that same line, Mr. Attorney, do we need to outline what the term limit, or excuse me, term limit, do we need to outline what the term period would be at this point?
So
for the 2 additional,
Actually, for the entire board of
yeah, so
commissioners.
your organizing resolution will do that. Once we expand that to 7, if that's the pleasure of the council, we'll change the enabling resolution. We'll modify the organizing resolution to include 7 positions. Then, based on whatever those appointees are, then you'd start filling in blanks and they'll stagger from the start. And then once they initially all expire, then there'll be 6-year terms from there.
okay. Before we take a formal motion on this, because we are doing a public hearing on this resolution tonight, I need to formally open the public hearing. Correct, Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, did you have something before I?
No, you got the state statute, because I don't. You got it?
Oh, I don't have the specific statute in front of me. I can look it up.
What are you questioning?
Just to open the
Just to
public
open the
hearing
public hearing.
process.
I just make a motion to open the public
I
hearing.
make a motion to open the public hearing regarding the EDA resolution.
No, second.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Zahn, second by Councilmember Fraley. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries and our public hearing is open for item number 1, the enabling resolution to establish an EDA. If anyone from the public has anything they would like to come forward with, please do so now. State your first, last name, your address, and then we will give you time to share your thoughts.
Bruce Imholt, 25628 Wooddale Road, Nisswa. I previously served on an Economic Development Committee or Authority for 12 years, so just a couple of thoughts on that. I'm glad you recommended 7 members because I think that's a great number. As you said, more public involved. You don't have the, I don't have it on my phone anymore, but if you could put up the resolution, item N on the resolution.
I can.
Which if I may, item N references the EDA shall not provide business assistance.
Correct. That seems to me the exact opposite of what, I don't know what your intent was for the EDA here, but the EDA, in my opinion, is supposed to provide business assistance to help existing businesses in the city of Nisswa expand, hopefully to provide incentives to businesses that may want to come to Nisswa. You can do that through a lot of ways. You can get low interest loans through the state of Minnesota, through the federal government, and in turn you use those loan dollars to loan out to businesses that again may want to expand or come to the city. Usually the EDA is the recommending body for TIF. They also they can provide grants. So there's a lot of ways that the EDA can provide assistance to businesses, and I guess not understanding what you thought the mission of the EDA was, but that caught my attention when I saw that line, and so I'd strongly recommend you to line out the word "not" and say the EDA shall provide assistance to businesses. That's my comment.
Councilmember Zahn.
You make a great
Thank you,
point.
Mr. Imholt.
Thank you, Bruce. You make a great point. I think it's one of those areas of grayness because it's such a general sentence, right? Shall not provide business assistance. Well, what is business assistance? It can vary, as you know, greatly. So if there was to be a strike on the word shall not, and instead just place the word shall, it does keep it open for some sort of assistance from the Economic Development Authority without any strict outlining as to what that assistance is going to be. Is there any suggestion from the city attorney if we were to strike the word not? And is there any caveats that we need to consider at this point to include in doing so?
Only this, as Bruce identified, things like TIF and those other sorts of things that are the forms of business assistance. If you say initially as you're forming this EDA that the city will provide business assistance, then you're going to have to go into a cookbook of what kinds of business assistance you will and will not want the EDA to assist with. This EDA's original intent of the formation of this to get this going is to help the city begin to come up with some ideas about how to develop certain parcels of land in the city. As the EDA gets going, I can see expansion of EDA depending on how that goes and how people get going and how it cycles through its processes. And if that were the case, then it's always easy to expand through an amended enabling resolution to give the EDA other responsibilities, other duties. At this point, the idea was to get it off the ground, get it going, get the EDA functioning, and then you may find that you want the EDA to do other things. If you are to say now that you want the EDA to be involved in business assistance, then my opinion is that you've got to populate then that with more information. What business assistance? What kind? Do you want it to be in charge of TIF? These are the sorts of things that at the start, as you were game planning the EDA formation, those are things that you really wanted to keep under council control for now.
Well, if I can just address.
Go
that
ahead, Bruce.
there. If you are looking to develop the land down there on 371, that's great, but my opinion is you're probably going to need to provide some type of assistance, if nothing else, low interest loans. So for example, a business, maybe it's a manufacturing business, retail, whatever, comes in, maybe they can, they're going to build a $4 million facility. Maybe they can get $3 million from a bank. Maybe they're going to put 500,000 of equity in, but they need some gap funding. That's what an EDA can do. They can provide 500,000, maybe at 1 or 2%. Where the city might be borrowing at a 1%, the city then turns around and loans it out at 2%, for example, which is a way then to build up the EDA coffers. And as you build up the EDA coffers, you then have dollars to provide further down the line to other businesses. So just a thought there that if you limit yourself right away, sure, your attorney is right, you can come back and change it, but why not do it correct the first time and give you the flexibility to be able to provide assistance to a business that may go in there or anywhere in this one.
Mr. Pearson, do you have a comment or response?
Yeah, maybe a middle ground on that is to change the wording and end so that it just says the EDA shall assist the council in considerations of business assistance. I think those sorts of things that Bruce is talking about, if for instance, in the development of that property, you do have those sorts of things, and I think the city council still wants to keep a tight rein on things like tax increment financing, low interest loans, the sorts of things that Bruce is talking about, until such point as you might get comfortable giving more rope to an EDA to be more involved in those things. If you want to keep those things really tight to the council now, maybe the thing to do is to change this just to say that the EDA shall assist the city council in considerations of business assistance.
Anyway, my compliments in putting an EDA together. I think it's well needed.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for being here and addressing the council. Is there anyone else from the audience that would like to come forward with any comment regarding the enabling resolution for the EDA for the city of Nisswa? Okay, I think we need a motion to close.
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing regarding the EDA resolution.
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Zahn, second by Councilmember Hall. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, the public hearing is closed regarding the EDA resolution. Mr. Pearson, sorry, can you just read that language one more time that you had said for that last bullet point, letter N?
Yeah, yes, Mayor. So I marked this up to say that N would read the EDA shall assist the city council in considerations of business assistance.
Council, are there any questions regarding that discussion? Suggestion from Mr. Imholt, Councilmember Fraley,
I have nothing.
Councilmember London,
No.
Councilmember Zahn, Councilmember Hall. Okay, if there is no other discussion or input, I would entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to amend the proposed enabling resolution establishing an economic development authority for the city of Nisswa to increase the governed board from 5 commissioners to 7, as well as modifying section N to state the EDA shall assist city council in consideration for providing business assistance.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Zahn, a second by Councilmember Hall. Any additional discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next, we have the EDA organizational resolution. Mr. Pearson, I'll turn it back to you. I know we discussed this a little bit.
Thank you, Ms. Carnahan. As I indicated, I think this one is for consideration for later. I don't know how the council intends to seek candidates or take other steps to populate the EDA. And so once whatever process that's going to be that you will arrive at tonight, you'll get to a point hopefully in May, maybe in June, of being able to fill in the blanks on this draft organizing resolution.
Thank you. I just want to share with council before I open it up. I had the opportunity to talk to Mr. Tyler Glynn today. He is the executive director with Bladek. He's been here to address this council multiple times about the EDA, his experience with it and assisting with City of Brainerd, City of Cross Lake, and then Pequot Lakes has an EDC. He suggested a couple things to me on the phone today. One, he shared that the EDA appointment, so the positions of like president, vice president, treasurer, et cetera, that once the EDA is established, they would nominate and select that within their board, within that board. And that's how all of our neighboring cities do it. He said, and then they typically, at the first meeting every year in January, that's when they reappoint, right? Or take their votes for those different positions. So that was one thing he wanted me to share tonight. He's not able to be here. The second item is he does have like an application, a sample application form that we could put on the city's website. And then he would be able to assist me as applications come in following state statute 469.095 that the mayor appoints and the council confirms, is that he would be able to assist me with when applications come in sitting down with folks. Has the experience to explain, how it can work, his experience in working with other cities. And then what I see as a good path forward is then once we have the 7 people, we bring that forward to council and council could either vote that up or down. I know Councilmember Zahn had his hand up, so I'll go to him first and then I'll go around that way.
I think that there's a lot of added benefit to turning this open to the public to allow, if it's 2 governing commissioners that are city council appointees, then perhaps the other 5 should be offered to, the 5 seats should be offered to the public, in my opinion. We have a lot of savvy individuals in this community, and I think it'd be a fantastic opportunity to be able to give them what perhaps is a comfortable 2-week window to apply within the next 30 days. Granted, we have an application to be able to put out there and then broadcast that properly through all channels. An idea that I had in mind was if we were to open it from Wednesday, April 29th through Wednesday, May 13th, that'll then give us 6 calendar days before the May regular council meeting to be able to have the applications, to then be able to go through them and vet them in council or at our next council meeting together to be able to then populate this organizational set or organizing resolution, excuse me, in the month of May to be able to get this moving. Thoughts?
Councilmember London,
Opportunity to open it up, get the people, community involved in this and go forward.
Councilmember Fraley,
I'm okay with that.
Councilmember Hall.
Yeah, I agree.
Only other question I would have is for staff, if that was the route that we would like to go, is that administrative burden going to be too heavy to be able to accommodate before the May meeting? If we're able to get,
We can call a special meeting if we need to.
we
I
could
just
call,
said we could, if it's too much of a burden, because staff has a lot on their plates,
or meeting. prior.
we could always call a special meeting to discuss the appointments and then motion there.
Yeah, I guess I'd recommend to call a special meeting to discuss all this.
I'm fine with that. So May 13th is a Wednesday.
Yep.
Okay. Packets are due the 15th.
Okay.
Not saying I couldn't add it on, but if you want it for the meeting of the 19th, it's probably a little quick, but if we wanted to do a special meeting just to address those things, we can do that.
Maybe the following week or something to give a little more breathing room.
At least if you wanted to talk with these people, interview them after the 13th and whatever that committee, whether it's the mayor and Tyler and somebody else, it doesn't matter to me, but just giving a little bit of breathing room that the 19th might be too close for
Sure.
comfort.
Okay. But how does that application window sound?
That works for me.
Good?
Yep.
And you stated, Madam Mayor, that Mr. Glenn has
Yep.
an application template?
He does, but I think he's out of town this week, so
Okay.
if Ms. Wentler has time, maybe she can reach out to him and see, but I'm not sure when he gets back, and that's why he wasn't able to be here tonight.
If he's gone this week, I can reach out to him on Monday, Tuesday. I can still get it posted on Wednesday is the 29th, right? Yes.
Yes, it is. And then proper channels too. How can we get this out there properly so all residents and business owners have an opportunity to be able to see it and apply properly. Any ideas that we can perhaps share with this room right now outside of the,
Well, it will be posted on our website. I'm sure I can sweet talk Miss Callie from our chamber to put it in their newsletter that goes out for a couple weeks as well.
Okay.
To note that, let's see, we might be able to get maybe Nancy in the Echo to put something in an article noting that we might be looking for applicants during that time frame.
front page news.
And then just, I mean, word of mouth, we have a packed house tonight, so 30, 40 people here. Tell your friends.
Facebook,
Facebook, yes, yep.
how about email?
We can, I don't
For
really,
those that are subscribed to the,
the e-notify.
correct,
Yes, on our website, so they will automatically get an email the minute it's posted
Okay.
if they signed up for that page. So that would be
Okay.
the only downfall, but I can probably, well, I can't put it on every page, but we can send it out to like our commission members and things like that for them to spread the word as well, because we do have those emails.
perfect.
Okay, yep, since we are Councilmember Freely, do you have something or? Oh, I just saw you raising your. Okay, Mr. Pearson, since we are not able to necessarily fill all this in tonight, do we still want to open the public hearing
With respect.
with respect to
the organizing.
the second one,
resolution,
correct?
You do not need a public
Okay.
hearing for that.
Okay,
You need the
perfect.
Enabling resolution, so you're good.
Okay, very good,
No council action then, I believe.
correct.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Next up on our agenda under old business. Oh, do we have,
Oh, Andy is here.
yeah, Mr. Schaefer's here.
Yeah.
By the way, the NISWA Citizen of the Year 2026, congratulations. Okay, do we have our consultants on from Delaney Consulting?
Yes, Flora and Michael are both on via Zoom.
Okay, Flora, Michael, I don't know which one of you wants to start, but we are on item number 1 under old business, spirits expansion recommendation.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor, council members, city staff, citizens. As part of our existing SOW, we were tasked by the city to provide decision support and ultimately recommendations for the opportunity for spirits to consider expanding.
Michael,
Michael, are you able to
we
talk
can't
more?
hear you, or it's hard to hear you, so is there a volume, or is it on our end?
Mine is all the way up.
Flora, can you say something once, just so we can?
Sure, I can say something. I can hear Michael fine.
Okay,
This happened at the last meeting as well. There was something and a guy came and fixed a speaker.
yeah, it might be on our end then.
Okay, now say something.
Hello, hello, hello.
Perfect.
Am I any better?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe start over again, Michael.
Sure. Okay. Madam Mayor, council members, citizens and city staff, we are 7 weeks into our SOW, and as part of that, we were tasked by the city to provide due diligence, decision support, and ultimately recommendations to support the Spirits business opportunity to expand their physical location. We concluded that work the week of April 6th. We provided those findings to the Liquor Committee in a 1-hour session that provided them detail and an overview of the 5-page document that you were all provided as part of your packet. Ultimately, that document was turned over to the city on April 9th. And we were asked by city staff to support a discussion and answer any questions you might have regarding those recommendations and the document we created.
Flora, do you have anything to add as well or no?
No, I mean, that has been turned over and as I understand it, already been digested by the city and the Liquor Committee. And so we're here to answer any questions you might have about that.
Okay, let me start with council to see what questions they might have. I'll start with Councilmember Hall.
Obviously, this is just the start and the first little glimpse at stuff. Yeah, thank you for this information. That's, I think enough information at this point to make a decision. Looking forward to the rest of the report.
Councilmember Zahn.
One line in here that catches my attention from you all in this report states that, and I quote, based on 5 years of sales performance, declining profit trends, inventory productivity, and space utilization, your conclusion is clear. Expansion of lease space is not financially justified under current operating conditions. That was what the request was in regards to understanding the financial viability of any fiscal investment for the Spirits business enterprise, as well as what will be coming with the pickle as well. So thank you for providing that to us at our liquor committee meeting week and a half or so ago. So I appreciate
April
that.
6th.
April 6th, that's right.
Councilmember Fraley?
Sorry, April 9th.
Nope, nothing? Councilmember London? Okay, so there were two items that had kind of been going in front of this council for the past several months. One was if the city would take additional space in the new building that is adjacent to the Spirit's current building owned by the Schaefers. And then the second discussion was also around the current lease agreement that the city currently has with Schaefers and exploring an amended lease agreement. And so those findings were shared in here. I'd like to see if Mr. Schaefer wants to approach the microphone, if he has anything to share. And then after that, if anyone from the audience here today has anything to share.
I guess my question is like, who called the liquor committee meeting that was had on the 9th?
Since you're looking at me, I guess I don't have recollection as to who called it. Peggy, do you have recollection as to who called it?
I don't.
Who made the decision not to invite me?
I don't think that there was anything in particular to inviting one individual or not to the liquor committee meeting. It
Well,
was to
from what
be,
I've heard the last 2 council meetings is that you guys were supposed to invite me to a liquor committee meeting. That has yet to happen. I guess my follow-up question is, where was that meeting posted? Are those not supposed to be open to the public? Posted prior?
No, they have not. It's not our practice to post those. And it was a liquor negotiating meeting to discuss all of these things that have been in question.
So I have shared with fellow council members, and I've also shared this with folks. I do believe that the liquor committee meeting, to me, it's no different than a planning and zoning, a public works, or a parks and rec. It should be open to the public. And folks should be able to attend and information that's discussed, because anything we do here at the city level, it's all a matter of public record anyway. So whether or not folks agree or disagree with the discussion or an outcome, that's not really the point. The point is that we are trying to strive for transparency, being open in these meetings. From my lens, they should be noticed. They should be held in the council chambers, no longer that conference room, because we are discussing city business. I was removed from the liquor committee by this council, so I'm not on the liquor committee anymore. I was, however, invited to this negotiation meeting. I think it does say that the liquor committee unanimously recommends no change to our current lease, and I'm not certain that I fully gave my perspective one way or another, because from my lens, I don't always like to necessarily say or commit to how I might vote or what I think, because as more information surfaces or different inputs and contexts come up, things can shift. So I will just say from that lens, I think, and I did share this with folks, I think that we could have done better by Mr. Schaefer, and I wasn't in charge of the inviting, but whoever was, that should have been a consideration, and information from my lens should have been shared with him as soon as we had it. I don't know how other folks on the council feel, but I just think if we're always striving for transparency, more openness, it's never a bad thing.
Ms. Maggie, what was the day that the report was received? Because we did not have the report at the liquor committee meeting. It was Mr. Mike from Delaney that came on virtually to give us the preliminary findings of what they came up with, correct?
Correct.
And that was on a Wednesday, I believe.
It was a Wednesday. I received the report late Thursday and I sent it to council Friday.
Okay.
So you guys had it first.
And when was it relayed to Mr. Schaefer?
I called Andy on Monday.
Okay,
But I didn't see it until the packet was released.
okay. Well, apologize for that.
Councilmember Fraley.
Yeah, I'll agree with Mr. Schaefer. My recollection is in that council meeting, you were to be invited to the liquor committee, and ball got dropped. And I apologize. I don't know how it got dropped or why or where, but yeah, I thought you were going to be there.
Councilmember Hall, do you have anything you want to add?
I actually made a motion that Andy would be invited to that meeting, but online too is our city labor attorney, Chris. You know, what happened at this meeting, the way it was conducted, everything, was it even legal? Is my question.
I don't know enough to opine on that.
Okay.
That might be a question for the city attorney versus the labor attorney. Mr. Pearson?
Yeah, whether Andy was supposed to be there or not, it's not a question of whether the committee meeting was legal.
Okay.
There was discussions happening, I think, revolving around some of these preliminary findings that Delaney was coming up with that were going to inform this discussion. So I don't know that I wasn't there, but I don't know that it was even necessarily ripe to include Andy, because the committee was just considering some preliminary findings about whether additional space should be sought or not. So I don't know that the time has passed to have a conversation including Andy. What I'm hearing here, it sounds like it was preliminary conversation. And then, you know, where do we go from here sort of situation? But no question that it wasn't an illegal meeting.
So then I guess, just reading through the report and maybe even the backup, I think there's a lot of people in the crowd too that, you know, doesn't know what's in the report or the numbers and stuff that we're looking at, but, in the report, it referenced some square footage prices and stuff. How did we obtain that information? Does anybody know?
You have to ask Delaney.
Michael, do you have an answer to that?
Yeah, the document lays out as such that the first page walks you through our intake and all of the square footage. If you're referencing specifically the price per square foot, the square footage of the building, that came directly from the leases.
That's correct.
So I think to Councilmember Hall's point, folks in the audience might not know what we're referencing because everybody might not actually have the
Sure.
packet or have had a chance to look through it or go through it in detail. But as we shared, the items that have been coming before this council for the past 7 months, I might be off a month or two, have been, again, if Spirits, which is the city of Nisswa, because that's a municipal liquor store, if that business should consider taking additional space in the new development that the Schaefers are building. So that was one piece of it. And then the second piece was our current lease agreement with the cities, with Schaefers, goes through, I think, May of 2029, March of 2029, or May of 2029. And right now, the city is paying a per square foot rate of $17.90. And Mr. Schaefer had approached the city about amending that lease agreement to bring that $17.90 per square foot up to $21 per square foot based on the new development that's going up adjacent to Schaefer's, adding a new loading dock, a heated sidewalk out in front of Spirits, and some other things based on past discussions between the city, employees of the city, and or council members and Mr. Schaefer. And the council voted to hire a liquor consultant, Delaney Consulting, who is here with us tonight, to assess all the city's liquor businesses. And basically what came back in the scenario of looking at the revenues, the profitability, is that there has been a, correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, a 40% profitability decline in the spirits business over the past 5 years from 2021 through 2025. That analysis showed a decline in the net gross profit percent of sales as well as net profits. To give folks in the room an example, in 2021, the net profits of spirits were 489,000, so roughly 490. And in 2025, the net profit dollars were 282. So that is a decline. So Delaney Consulting came back based on that and making some projections out into this year and potentially the future. And again, Michael and Flora, correct me if I'm saying anything incorrectly from what you shared, is that an expansion just doesn't make sense for the business at this point in time based on numbers, margins, percentages. Did I say that roughly high level correctly?
Yep, you said it fantastic. You're rounding, but you're in the ballpark, right, of where they are. The numbers you used are accurate for net operating profit and net income dollars. I think the other two formulas that work to inform this are actually maybe more important as far as pointing towards whether or not you need more space. So when you look at the opportunity to add more space, we were given two exact square footage scenarios to consider. So at the top of page 2 of your document, scenario 1 and 2 basically says if you were to increase your square footage in either of those scenarios, your fixed expense increase would be either $31,810 per year or $48,526 per year. What that means is the business would have to do between $500,000 and $764,000 more in sales per year. There's no strategy to accomplish that. And liquor, as you may know, is a declining industry and has been in a 2 to 3 year slide. So to take more space without the opportunity to confidently offset it in revenue would not be advisable. And then the second part of the scenario that we put together is on page 4, which is your inventory turns. Your inventory is slowing in terms of turns, and that speaks to you have enough space to support your existing revenue as well as continue to grow at a normalized year-over-year rate as well. So space isn't a barrier to growth, and adding additional space would do nothing but take returns away from the city of Nisswa and the constituents, which is the purpose of the Muni Liquor enterprise.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's our point of view that, this expansion would add fixed costs to a business that is currently operationally constrained and declining. So adding fixed costs would not be in the best interest of the citizens who have a lot to do with the outcome and benefits of the Spirits Liquor Store.
Councilmember Hall.
Maybe this is partially a number and building question though, but the business has been operating. I'm not currently on the liquor committee, but I was a couple of years ago. The business was currently operating with an outside storage unit that has gone away due to the expansion. Has that all been considered, talked about, part of this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because in one of the, in your line item, you know, said, you know, the higher volume buy-in discounts, you know, in there. And so I'm just wondering if we're already declining, you know, and that goes away, that actually helps us or hurts us, or I was confused by page
Yeah.
number 2 on the bottom there, if you could speak to that.
You know, there's an old saying in retail that you make money one of two ways. You either make money buying product or you make money selling product. And the money that Nisswa Spirits could gain by buying incrementally more volume to get reduced prices is not offsetting or would not offset the volume and increases that could happen from increasing sales. So it's important to think about that when you think about slowing down your inventory. Inventory caught up in volume purchases is capital funds that the city has sitting in inventory. So the better way to make money as a retailer is to make those turns go faster and throw cash off your investment. So that is an important thing to measure. When you're talking about the bottom of page 2, are you talking about the footnote?
No, you explained everything what I was asking. So, yep,
Yeah.
I just wanted you to maybe
Sure.
explain that for the public, and because that was in the
Absolutely.
report.
Okay, Councilmember London has something.
I'm not on the liquor committee either, but I definitely feel that Mr. Schaefer should, with his experience in retail and business, should be part of these meetings and have some input with his experience and knowledge. He's got a big stake in this expansion. And I think it's very important for him to share in this and have some input.
Councilmember Zahn, did you still have something or?
No, not exactly. Flora answered the question. I'm going to reiterate one more time as to the ultimate outcome of that initial liquor committee meeting of having a discovery internally for us to be able to understand what were we to expect. We didn't have the report quite yet. It would have been premature, in my opinion, and it wasn't of my opinion or decision to include or exclude anybody from that meeting. So I hope it's understood that's not, I don't want it to feel like it's a personal decision here. This is business. We're elected to represent all of you and our tax dollars as well. And when it comes down to the boiling sense of this business, as well as what will come with the pickle factories findings from Delaney, it's clear that we have opportunities to improve the operating business models. I appreciate, Flora, you talking about the aspect of fixed costs, because fixed costs for us in terms of a lease is long-term, typically outliving any of us on a council term basis. And for myself as a business owner, I try to look at the dollars and cents of it and look at the long-term viability of, does this or thus make sense for us to be able to move forward with? Because we will not be able to get ourselves out of this. And it would be hard for me to justify, based on that preliminary explanation that Mike gave us on a Zoom call, with that report that came out a day later and was distributed to the council the following day, and then to Mr. Schaefer the next Monday, that this was a viable path forward. We do understand that the relationship with Andy and your family, and specifically your business across your parking lot, from where Spirits is at now, is a strong one. We hope that they mutually benefit each other for many years in the future. But as it sits right now, I believe that it was this full consensus, and Madam Mayor, tell me, or correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe it was a unanimous recommendation to not proceed based on these preliminary findings. We have a lease that's going to be coming up here in a few years, and at that point, some decisions can be made as to what will be the next steps for this business enterprise, its location, and beyond.
Councilmember Hall?
So outside of the numbers and the business sense on the square footage going up and down, is there still discussion the liquor committee needs to have with Andy as far as maybe more logistics? You know, the building changed, parking lot changed, flow of stuff has changed. Is there still some discussion points on that that needs to happen, or has that happened or not happened, or where are we at with that?
To my knowledge, it has not happened, and it does still need to happen with a future liquor committee meeting or a special meeting to be able to get in front of the Schaefer family to be able to figure out what next steps are based on prior conversations. There's some limitations that have been put on the table that are going to hinder perhaps or alter the operations of spirits that we need to streamline so we don't have any hiccups in operations. So perhaps, Maggie, we can get a liquor committee meeting, perhaps even posted to Madam Mayor's point, to be able to streamline some of these lingering talking points.
Excuse me, certainly we can do that. I did talk with Andy about some of, I'll say, the lingering items, and one of them is the dumpster and where that would be located. And I don't know that as city staff, we have an issue with the location. It would just be out by our sign in the grass. I did talk with Andy in regards to the parking spaces out front and if there was any ability to potentially adjust that, and whether that was there for drainage or a specific reason for the flow of traffic. I think Andy, correct me if I'm wrong, was open to removing that if that was beneficial. I did talk with Steven in our planning and zoning to see if the council had interest and was interested in moving forward with that, that we might be able to get that on the May 5th meeting to get that approved on. There will be some moving pieces, but I know that Andy wants to pave here in May. So there is some engineering and things that might need to be done. I know the drainage is going there anyways, but you would have to remove that island. As far as the loading dock goes, that is an amenity that we currently have that is going to be removed, and we're going to have no longer use of it unless we amend our agreement per Andy.
You currently just have a garage door, not a loading dock.
Well, yes.
So there, like I said, I feel like there are two items, so I'm just gonna come back to it, council, because we owe it to Mr. Schaefer to consider a motion on the two items. The one item would be if Spirits is going to take any additional space. We've been talking to him for months, and I just think the right thing to do is we need to have some direction there. And then the second item is the council open to entertaining an amended lease agreement with our second amended lease? I think we're in a second amended lease. I don't know if you want to say anything else.
Well, I did tell Maggie that we already had a meeting in planning and zoning and redid the parking lot and all that stuff. And I don't know why the city didn't approach me or us then. You know, you expect all of us citizens to just know what you guys are doing all the time, and then this comes around. So I am not willing to pay any more to do that. So if you guys want to pay the engineering fees and all that jazz to remove that, then we can talk about that, but I am not in favor of paying any more money.
Is everybody up to speed on the situation there?
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
there, oh, go ahead, Councilmember Hall.
I would have to agree with Andy because, you know, as Brian that brought up that wanted that, you know, as an employee of the city, wanted that removed. So actually at that meeting, we had asked, I think Dave was at the meeting, you know, what would need to be done engineering wise to do that. I'm not sure, Stephen, if that's gone anywhere or not, or, you know, after that meeting, I'm not sure what happened or who took the ball on that, if that was you, Stephen, or somebody else.
Stephen is our planning and zoning department head.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, so at the most recent planning commission meeting where the parking lot was discussed, it was to entertain a variance to the landscaping requirements and removal of a second island that was proposed. Part of the proceedings were that modifications to that would have to come back before the planning commission and board of adjustment. And so we could certainly entertain that and add that as Ms. Wentler had mentioned to the May 5th meeting under, I would assume, new business, and just get that site plan, whatever that depiction would look like to them. But the city has taken no further engineering work as it relates to this proposal to remove that final island.
Councilmember Hall, do you have any follow-up for Mr. Timblin? Oh, Mr. Pearson, did you have your hand up?
Stephen, that island is there because of our ordinance, right?
Correct.
It's part of the CUP requirement, right?
It's part of the ordinance requirements for 5% landscaping within a parking lot.
If it were to be removed by just amending the CUP to remove that requirement, we could do that. There isn't additional engineering that would need to be done, right? Isn't the drain, that's not a drainage.
It's not a basin itself. It's a recipient in my interpretation that is a conduit towards the storm basin.
Reducing impervious, that's fine, but isn't this just mechanically as simple as just amending the CUP to remove that requirement?
I think it would be as simple as just showing a new site plan to the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment for review of it and approval.
Yeah, don't quote me, but I think, unless you know something different, I think Andy's contractor had said it might need to have stuff adjusted that's already currently in the ground from last fall. So they might have to rework something in the parking lot, but I'm just going off memory what was talked about at that meeting. So that's where I think the extra expense would come up, but
It's a good question for him.
but that'd be a question for the contractor, but I believe that's what he had stated at the planning and zoning meeting.
If that's the case, Joe, does the city want to commit if Andy asks his engineer for whatever specs that need to change or whatever in order to do that? Is the city willing to pay the expense that Andy will incur with his engineer to get that done? Because that would seem to be the necessary thing that needs to go to the planning commission to entertain an amendment to the CUP to remove that structure.
Yeah, I believe so, and that's what was kind of talked about at the planning and zoning meeting, so. But like I say, I'm not sure if, has anybody reached out to you, Dave, or Stephen, or?
We looked
No.
at the plan that was presented at planning and zoning. I think we had a few comments. One was this might have to go to Dolly for plan review, departmental over industry for commercial site development for the storm sewer. So, but other than that, there's no city engineering costs added to it.
Yeah, so maybe I'd just say, Andy, have your contractor reach out to Stephen and get him that information then and there might not be
That
anything like.
every time he does something, it costs me money. That's what I'm saying. I'm not
Right.
paying any more. So if you guys want to reach out to him and talk to him and pay him for his time instead of me, that's fine. I'm done flipping the bill for a city that can't even communicate with me.
So I would like to ask this council if anyone sitting up here on the dais right now has a motion related to taking additional space in the new development that Mr. Schaefer is building. Is there anyone up here that has a motion related to that specific item at this point in time?
I make a motion to not make any changes to Spirits in Nisswa third amended lease that's been proposed from the Schaefers regarding this.
I'll second.
Okay, is there any additional discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I didn't catch that, sorry. Was it Councilmember Zahn?
Aye.
Fraley and Councilmember London voted aye. Did you vote aye? Okay, all those opposed? Okay, motion carries. And then the other, so that was related to the third amended lease agreement, but then there's also the matter of the additional space.
Could this piece, understanding your situation, Andy, on that front, I mean, I'm wondering if this piece could be considered in regards to if there is there's going to be a cost, there's going to be engineered time to be able to do that, but Brian has stated that they would like to have that parking lot be as is, right? So perhaps could this cost be pulled from the liquor fund once we understand what that is? But what is the process for us to be able to get to that point of being able to get those engineer drawings?
Wouldn't we need, Mr. Pearson, wouldn't we need a council motion first that we would, if the council, if we're looking at picking up that cost through the liquor fund?
I guess, yeah, I'd make a motion.
Okay, go ahead, Councilmember Hall.
I'd make a motion that WSN, maybe Dave would reach out to Andy's contractor to just start the discussion to see what the situation is and come back to us with a feedback, and that we would pay WSN's cost to get that done.
Councilmember Hall made a motion. Do you need him to repeat it? Councilmember London seconded.
Yep.
Okay, any additional discussion?
Yes, timeline though, assuming,
Yeah, I don't think we have time to come back to
correct.
council for this.
So, Mr. Schaefer, when are you planning on paving?
Well,
Yesterday?
One of the road restrictions coming off.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Few
So
weeks.
shortly after that,
Okay.
we're gonna connect
Mr.
the sewer prior and then repave all of it.
Mr. Reese, is there ability on your end to be able to accommodate this?
To contact his engineer and get the plan developed? Is that what you're asking?
Correct.
Or for us to prepare a plan?
Yeah, I'd say for you guys to look at it and see if there's a change that needs to be made and address it.
Okay. Yes, there's time that we can make available to work with their engineer.
And the other aspect is on the ordinance piece, Mr. Timblin. Is this a variance that is going to have to come before the?
So the variance hearing that we entertained before, I'm not going to be able to pull the exact percentages out of my mind, but I feel like it was an approval of 1.92% where 5% is required. The applicant demonstrated a perimeter buffer that would constitute a vegetative protection to the parking lot as a kind of a trade-off to that. Mr. Pearson, you also mentioned that you envisioned that this would be a CUP amendment. Such a hearing would be subject to public hearing requirements. I'd have to put notice in the paper for an action such as that versus new business where I could simply place it on there as a plan review modified approval perhaps by the Planning Commission and Board of Adjustment. So I just want to highlight that for City Council as we talk about scheduling and timelines. State of Minnesota has very strict timelines for publication requirements for these public hearings, so.
Okay, we have a motion and second. We're in discussion. Is there additional discussion here? Or are you ready for me to call the question? Councilmember Hall?
Just so I was clear with what you said, Stephen, you're saying there's no way to make this happen without drawing it out for a period of time and publicizing it and jumping through all these hoops. There's no other.
Other
way
than
to
placement
adjust it?
under new business.
What that?
Other than placement under new business, if it's a public hearing item, amending a CUP, which I'd have to look at the specific findings of facts and conditions to see whether an amendment would be required for this case. My initial opinion to that would be that it wouldn't, but I would defer to the city attorney for city advice on that as well.
Yeah, then I would look at doing something after the fact, so it doesn't hold this up, because once again, it's just gonna cost more dollars, and at this point, it's more dollars to the city, so I don't know, is that an option to do it after the fact?
I have a motion.
It's still part of
Yeah.
it, though.
Mr. Pearson?
It's the city's ordinance that needed to be complied with, which required this island to be constructed. It's the city that's asking for permission essentially to eliminate that. It strikes me that there's got to be a fast track way to do that. I don't prefer doing it after the fact, but there's got to be a way to expedite that, given the unique nature of this situation. Yes, if it's a CUP amendment, then those typically need to go through the proper channels This is a little bit different animal because of the fact that the city is requesting a departure from its own ordinance requirements.
Right.
Fancy precedent.
So can't we just make a motion can't we just make a motion here tonight to just be done with this? Cause like you said, the city's asking itself to undo something that it did. I mean, it just doesn't get much more ridiculous than this.
Yeah, I think the answer is in the unique circumstances we have here. Yes, it's not a process we'd normally recommend.
Right.
Given the nature of what I just said and what this is, the answer is probably yes. The council could just go ahead and make a motion to amend, if it's the CUP or whatever, if it's stormwater management plan, to remove this requirement and to get whatever engineering is necessary in order to address that. So that that can happen and paving can happen without that structure in that parking lot.
Okay, we have a motion second on the table. Currently a motion, Councilmember Hall, made by you.
So we'll
Which-
move ahead with that motion for Dave. And
Oh, okay, so any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
I'll make a second motion, then that we move to get away or get rid of the conditions on the CUP with the percentage of island coverage required. And that we just strike that from the CUP and allow them to pave the parking lot.
Okay, do we have a second? All right, motion by Councilmember Hall, second by Councilmember London. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Can I ask one
Go ahead,
clarifying
Ms. Wendler.
question? I know Andy said that he was not going to pay for these additional fees, so is the council wanting to make a motion to pay for those?
You mean waive?
Waive? Well, no, he has engineering fees, whether it's Woodseth. Like, if Woodseth is gonna do it, I'm fine, but I don't know how Andy feels about Woodseth coming in with plans that he has with his engineer.
Did that first motion not cover that?
No.
I thought it did.
I thought it.
Yeah, I thought it did.
Did it not?
That was my intent for them to go out there and do that.
Okay, do you want to make a third motion just so we cover everything?
In the event, I make a motion that in the event that there are fees associated to this modification, that the fees be paid directly from the liquor fund.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay, motion by Councilmember Zahn, second by Councilmember London. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay,
Probably should have been a cap.
thank you. Do you have anything else, Mr. Schaefer?
No, like, where do we go from here? What's the plan? Do we have a plan?
Miss Maggie, can we schedule a liquor committee meeting perhaps for midweek next week, if possible, to be able to get the liquor committee together with Mayor Carnahan, as well as the city attorney and the engineer to be able to walk through all remaining outstanding items regarding this expansion that is no longer happening for Spirits of Nisswa, but any other outstanding items pertaining to that.
We can do that.
Let's target Wednesday if possible, if that works.
Sure. As far as I know.
I'll work on something.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Real
Delay,
quick, I got one
yep,
other,
Councilmember Hall.
before Andy leaves, many of you might know or might not know, you're looking at the Citizen of the Year, so.
Okay, we still have Delaney Consulting on with us. Item number 2 under old business is just if you guys have an update on the rest of the plan and the progress.
Yeah, thank you for that, Madam Mayor, City Council members, and citizens and staff from Nisswa. We are currently moving from discovery to the analysis phase. We have been to Nisswa twice to do 2 market visits. We have 2 more scheduled. We have been pulling POS data, doing competitive store visits, doing comp shops, and diving deep into the information that the city has been kind enough to provide us. We will next be up there in 3 weeks where we will be focusing on the final sweep through of all the remaining outstanding questions, as well as doing some interviews with team members. At this point, we just want to let you know that we're on time and we're on target for our final deliverables, which continues to be ready to be delivered to the city before the June City Council meeting. So that is where things stand right now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does council have any questions for Delaney Consulting before we let them go and move on?
No.
Okay, thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate all the effort and we look forward to getting the next batch of information for the report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up under old business is organization structure, admin/clerk/finance department. Councilmember Zahn had asked for this to be put on the agenda.
For the time being, I'd like to make a motion to table this topic, perhaps until the next city council meeting.
Do we have a second? Okay, motion by Councilmember Zahn, second by Councilmember London. Any discussion from council? Councilmember Fraley.
Can I get a typo changed out of here? Under essential functions, 1, 2, 3rd item down says serve at, should be serve as.
Okay, we can change, but did you hear the motion he wants to?
I
pick?
did,
Okay,
I just.
yeah,
wanna throw it in there.
we'll make a note about it. Does that work?
Yep, that's perfect. Thank
Okay,
you.
any other discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries and we will table this until the May meeting. Next up is the administrator clerk position. We have Mr. Humpelon with SCSC. We know you've been.
It's Wendell.
Wendell, oh, Wendell, sorry. Wendell?
Wendell, you're on mute. Oh, there you go.
I'm having a little trouble there technologically.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know if you could hear us, but, and we apologize because we know you've been sitting on Zoom for quite a while, waiting for us to get to this agenda item. The item before this was for council to discuss the organization structure of the admin clerk, finance department, which would play a key role in obviously your consulting, services, but we made you wait so long and you're here. So do you have an update, any timing, any perspective that you want to share with council here regarding our search, which we have gone through this year for the admin/clerk position for the city of Nisswa?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, council members, staff and community members, we are obviously contemplating how best to move forward to restart the search, as you've alluded to. It's our opinion at this point that it would be best to re-advertise after the end of summer because of vacations, and I'm sure with activity, the anticipated activity level in the city of Nisswa in the summer, it's probably not the optimum time for restarting the process. So we have been talking internally about how to reshape our advertising, and then where we will be informally spreading the word about the position and the upcoming search informally through the various city gatherings that take place over the summer, the League of Cities, the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities. And in the near term here at the end of the month, the Minnesota City Managers Association is meeting in Brainerd. So that'll be an opportunity for us also, our staff, to talk about the upcoming search and spread the word with the idea of, certainly obtaining the widest, opportunity for applicants to consider being part of that upcoming effort. And we will if it meets with your approval, Mike will be in your area then for the MCMA conference at the end of the month, April 29th through May 1st. Would be available, should you wish, for him to meet with Personnel Committee to talk about more specifics for the process, or in the alternative, we can schedule another opportunity, that fits your process. But we will have some recommendations on the basis of what we would suggest to consider in a potential employment agreement. And the issue of housing and housing costs in the area and spousal employment, all those various things. So I guess we serve at your pleasure. Be interested in your input in how you feel we could best move forward with the process.
Does council have any questions for Wendell around the process, around his recommendation to consider holding and reposting after the summer season and potentially getting us all together when Mr. Humple is in the area? It sounds like next week. I'll start with you, Councilmember Fraley.
Well, I won't be here next week.
Oh, okay.
I'll be gone. I won't be back until the end of the month. So Wendell, basically the reason why we're waiting until the fall is because it's too busy in Nisswa over the summer, correct? The other thing too is isn't it generally that people that are looking for a change typically like to go and move at this time, especially if they have children?
Well, there are so many issues with when the children are out of school, for vacations and all those various things. We don't find the summer to be the best time for advertising. However, we certainly are flexible, on a schedule. So we suggest this for your consideration and look forward to your response.
Do you have anything additional? Councilmember Fraley?
No, not at this time.
Okay, Councilmember London?
Best interest of the city, and can't get in candidates, let things lie for a while and bring it back in the fall.
Councilmember Zahn?
That's a different perspective than what I would have taken myself, Wendell, but I understand it. I would think that when children get out of school, they're going to have some more flexibility to be able to start to really go scout and feel an area. And why not have them come here in the middle of summer when it's ripe, beautiful, packed with people? So I'm in favor of launching this as late as June, perhaps, and even May. That's my suggestion on the matter.
Okay, Councilmember Hall?
Yeah, I would completely agree. It seems a little backwards to me to wait.
Have you ever moved anywhere in the middle of winter?
I've never.
I moved to Grand Forks in the middle of winter, never again.
No, but I just, a couple of things, even with the placement time frame of people and stuff, if we don't go get, try and get this figured out, we're gonna lose a whole nother calendar year. Our staff is already overwhelmed, with what we have going. We need that city administrator in here for 100 different reasons. And, or obviously they're hard to come by. I did a little calculation the last week. We've had in the last year, 10 different people that have either been in the role, asked to be in the role, joined the role, not say they're not interested in the role, so obviously these people are hard to come by. But I think the sooner the better.
Wendell, I tend to agree. I think that we should get moving again on the search because there's a lot of activity going on with the city in this one, and staff are kind of strapped at this point in time, and we do a disservice to all the people in this city when we don't have basically the administrator role filled for the city of Nisswa.
Certainly, I I think I'm hearing a consensus here that you'd wish us to move forward more expeditiously. So let us come back to you with an updated schedule along the lines that you're talking for the initial advertisement of the position, and then come up with a timeline for the hiring process.
Sounds,
So
Councilmember Fraley first, then Councilmember Zahn.
Well, I was just wondering, why can't we set the timeline?
Well, I think they want to share a timeline that gives them the time they need to do all the processes and whatnot. I'm not trying to speak for you, Wendell, but that's been our experience in working with you thus far.
But with that, that means that, so the different timeline, then we're talking about the May meeting before we can.
Well, we can call a special meeting if we need to make a vote and motion and move
Right, 'cause I'd
faster.
like to see their, how fast, Wendell, how fast do you think you could get that timeline done?
We can do that by next week.
perfect.
Okay,
I like,
Councilmember Zahn has something.
yeah, I would say a target based on the consensus, I think, from this council, Wendell, would be perhaps we can try to get this posted in May, early May. And if we can give a preemptive motion right now from the council to be able to authorize, I believe it was additional $2,000 for the reposting. Memory serves right? To be
Yeah, I
able
think
to.
we had provided the
2,000.
number to Maggie. Yeah.
So without, if I may.
Entertain a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion, Madam Mayor, to authorize SESC to proceed with the city administrator / clerk job search as soon as possible.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Councilmember Zahn made the motion. I heard Councilmember London first, so that's the second. Any additional discussion?
Yes, one more piece on that, Wendell. Once that timeline comes out, you have the green light to proceed. So as long as it gets in the hands of this council, I think we should be unanimous in its execution. So if it's similar as last time, I think you're going to be producing candidates within a 45-day or 60-day window by memory, I believe. So knowing that, we might be in a situation where we have interviews midsummer and hopefully try to find somebody before school starts in the fall. So
We'll put our best schedule together and get it to you by early next week.
Perfect. Well, we have a motion and a second on the table. If there's no additional discussion, I'd like to call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, next up under old business is Public Works. This was brought up at our March meeting. Mr. Blommer, our Public Works Director, is not here, but he had brought forward a recommendation to council asking to have Councilmember Hall confirmed as a second council liaison to the Public Works Committee. We decided to table that item and push it to this meeting because Councilmember Zahn wanted the ability to reach out to some individuals on the Public Works Committee. I don't know if you had a chance to do that.
I did. I spoke to Mr. Tom, Mr. Dill, and then had some text messages with Galen all today, as a matter of fact. It was a unanimous consensus that they did not believe that another member from the council, regardless of who it was necessary to be on the board. A suggestion from, I believe, 2 of the 3, if not all 3, was to open it up to add another seat to the public, to be able to get another private citizen on there. That is all being said without speaking to Mr. Blommer. And our collective condolences to Tom Blommer. He lost his father just within the past few days, so he is not here for obvious reasons. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to make a motion perhaps on this. I'd like to make a motion to advertise a Public Works Committee seat as soon as possible to bring that board. Sorry, my motion's over.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilmember Zahn, a second from Councilmember Fraley. Any additional discussion from council?
Which would then bring that board to, I believe, 4
from the.
correct?
Correct.
Now, the only question I have on that is, does it need to be an odd number?
I thought there
Does the
was-
liaison have a tie-breaking ability? I've been on this for 4 years and I don't think we've ever seen a committee tie. So is,
That committee is not set up for the liaison to vote.
it's an advisory board, more or less.
Correct.
Understood then. Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. The last item we had under old business, the executive director from Hills Crossing has reached out to the city about adding a street light near Hills Crossing, which is just behind the fire hall. Unfortunately, Jacob Work, the executive director, he also had a personal family emergency. He couldn't be here tonight. So he's requesting, and given that Mr. Blommer can't be here tonight either, if we can table this and push this to the May meeting, if there's no objection.
No, I make a motion that we table this agenda item to May.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Hall to table, second by Councilmember London. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, motion carries. Now we're on to new business. So the first item under new business is we have a member of the community, Katie Ellsworth. She has been doing a lot of research and work, and she is here to share tonight with the council and everyone in the room and also everyone watching on a pedestrian safety project request. So Ms. Ellsworth, we will turn it over to you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Like she said, my name is Katie Ellsworth. I am here to propose that the city,
Katie,
yes,
either the microphone closer to you or you closer to it. Thank you.
Maggie warned me about that too. I'm here to propose that the city seriously consider or investigate an above or below grade crossing at the 371 and Upper Roy Lake Road intersection to both address safety and improve happiness of a significant portion of Nisswa's population. I did provide a report. I tried to do as much research as possible. If we could cross safely, residents along that route within a 2-mile radius would only be a 1/4 mile to 2 1/4 miles from the Paul Bunyan State Trail and only 1 to 3 miles from Main Street. I am personally familiar with traffic south of town from my summers here, but this is actually my first full year here. We moved in the winter and we were actually pretty surprised at how consistent the traffic is even in winter. And I personally can't imagine crossing that intersection in the summer with my family and guests. We consistently have 4 bikers and one of us pulls a little trailer with my toddler. An alternative that we could consider is biking all the way around Edna and Fawn Lakes to the Highway 29 crossing or County Road 29 crossing, which will eventually have an at-grade sidewalk through the 371 redefine, but that adds 3 to 5 miles round trip, and that's just not feasible for any more casual walkers or bikers. We could also just drive and park, but I think that negates the purpose of trying to be more outdoorsy and enjoying the nature while we have good weather. On my proposal, you can see a map. I tried to focus on a 2-mile area in the black. That includes 190 or more residents. I just looked at Google Maps and counted the houses. 6 lakes, 3 tourists or hospitality businesses. And I'm sure some people outside of that 2-mile radius would also be happy to use a crossing if it existed. This would be a good opportunity for hospitality business guests, property values, and therefore eventually tax revenue. And it would attract more home buyers according to a rural design study that I found. There is also a 270% return on investment in residents' health alone, not considering all of the other benefits. I understand a project like this is a large undertaking. I did find a few studies of similar small communities based in tourist destinations that showed great economic impact, if that is our concern, as well as a few Minnesota case studies. There was the Itasca Heartland Connection Tunnel and also the Crosby Highway 6 Tunnel. Itasca pursued their tunnel entrance specifically because, and I quote, high traffic made walking and biking too risky, and that was only a 2-lane highway. This is a 4-lane highway. Crosby already had an at-grade crossing and were still concerned, so they installed a tunnel beneath their at-grade crossing. Again, that was only a 2-lane highway. I did include cost estimates. Examples were 1.1 to 1.3 million for a 2-lane highway, so I would assume it would be closer to that national benchmark of 4 million. But the 2 examples I provided got over 90% of their funding through state and local resources and grants. I am not an expert or familiar with government funding. I included a list of programs that I could find that might relate to this project. But all I am asking is that the council do what is necessary to try to make the vision a reality, whether it's investigating, have your engineers look at it, etc. I was only able to explore my neighborhood for one Friday afternoon. I took time off of work, and I was only able to visit less than half of the focus area I included. That does not include snowbirds, weekenders, or those that were at their day jobs, but of the people that I was actually able to meet with, 20 of them were very interested in this, and that was all but one house. So I think if I had made it to more of my community, I would have had more signatures to show to you that this is something that the neighborhood does want and would use. Many of them mentioned asking the council to consider a way for golf carts and motorized vehicles to use it as well, so that they could make it into town for those who don't bike or walk. But yeah. So I am asking the council to please look into or investigate this option to address both safety and happiness.
Thank you so much. I just first want to say, I know you've put a lot of time and effort into this. The research that you've done is very impressive. Your advocacy is inspiring for this community. So really thank you, because I know you reached out to all of us several months ago, and it's very impressive to see how much work you've done. And you have made an impact already. So thank you. But I will open it up to council for questions or comments for Ms. Ellsworth. Councilmember Fraley, I'll start with you.
So I pulled Katie aside before the meeting, just because I'm very familiar with the Itasca tunnel there, which will be finished this fall with everything up there. And cost of the whole thing was, because it was 2 parts, was $4.5 million. The city doesn't have the authority to say, yes, we can put it over or under. That's a state thing. What we had to do up there was, as I discussed with Katie, there were some accidents, there were fatalities, and it wasn't until a young man was paralyzed that the state all of a sudden got interested. It needs to be grassroots. We started with citizens that were concerned, as you are, and this is great that you came forward, and then working with the smaller communities, and then we brought in Park Rapids, Nevis, and then we brought in the county, and then finally the state. Overall, it took 26 years, but hopefully this won't take that long. I'm all for citizens working with, if we have time, if Katie, has Katie talked to you? Okay, but I think what we need, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, I think we need citizens to come forward, work together with the city. Also, we need to look, to get our county commissioner involved, and possibly our 2 representatives for the state that live in the area to come aboard, set something up to get this moving forward. But it's all up to the state whether they want to or not. So yeah, I just hope they will, because I've been wanting this for a while.
I will say the Itasca situation, I tried to look into how long both of those took. And it sounds like it was about 20 years for anything to be put together. But once Itasca had that citizen committee, it took 3 years.
Right, and the other good thing?
Ongoing.
The other good thing there is all of the money was state legislated bonding, except for the $150,000 that the county had to come up with, but that was under a federal grant. So the state helped them there. So that will be good. So my opinion is to move forward with this.
Councilmember London.
want to compliment you on all your work, and I'm sure you're willing to work even harder. This is in the best interest of public safety for our community and your neighbors and so forth and that. I'm behind it, and hopefully we can get the DNR, our city staffers, MnDOT and so forth, and some state government people behind you to support you in your wishes, and hopefully it'll go through. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Zahn?
If you haven't heard, we have an opening on the Public Works Committee that's coming up. Applications will be accepted shortly. And I think you've proven yourself already, ma'am. It's a disappointment that Mr. Blommer is not here with us today, but perhaps there's some relevant minds here that have idea as to what the cost was for the tunnel right over here, a part of that highway project. A project like this, especially when we get MnDOT involved, I think it's going to be a huge uphill push. There's federal funding limitations that they're running against too, and they've made that apparent to us, I think, sometime last year. Kicking the can down the road again and again. I think next year, Madam Mayor, you stated it's a bonding.
It's a bonding year.
Yeah, that bodes well. But I think in order to have this momentum continue to be carried forward as like a grassroots campaign, as you've already started, perhaps a committee with, like the Parks Committee perhaps could continue to help drive that and be able to have you attend and to be able to help kind of quarterback that piece for us to be able, on the city side, to be able to push as well. I think we have some good relationships with the Heinzmans, our state reps, and state senator, as well as the county commissioner sometime come in here. It's election cycle, so they're definitely going to be in here this year, saying hi. So I don't think you should give up this push and consider joining our committee on the public works side. I mean, the more you get involved on the city, even just on a committee basis, it opens your horizons up to what we try to work through and with. And I started out on planning and zoning like 5 or 6 months before council member resigned, and I applied and I got appointed, but after the fact, I was reminded, yeah, you were the only one that applied. So it wasn't that great, but I appreciate it. This is great. And thank you for sending it to me in advance so I could go through it. Good job.
Thank you.
Councilmember Hall?
Yeah, no, I agree. Thank you. It's a dangerous intersection. Don't take your kiddos across there right now.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I don't think we need a formal motion because it sounds like everybody's in consensus to figure out ways to help move forward. So it sounds like you can connect with staff, and then there's the Parks Committee, and there's other ways so we can continue the work that you've done.
Okay.
Thank you so much again for all of your hard work.
Thank you. That's what it's all about right there.
I was going to shift an agenda item up next, but the two ladies aren't here. So are you okay if I leave you where you are, Terry? Okay. All right. The next under new business, we have a 2026 Nisswa Chamber event summary, and we have the president of the chamber with us, Callie.
Good evening, everyone. This is just kind of a routine thing we do every year. Just a summary of all of our events. Instead of applying for a special event permit per event, I just kind of throw it all together for you to kind of bulk approve.
Okay, does council have any questions for Callie? It's all the wonderful events that make this town so special, and we're excited summer's coming back because it's been a horrible winter.
Yes.
So, Ms. Wentler, do we need a motion to just accept all of these as noted in the packet?
Yes.
Okay.
And just one motion is.
Okay, all right. I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the 2026 calendar of events as presented.
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Hall. I actually heard Councilmember Zahn second first. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we've got planning and zoning. Mr. Timblin, we have the chapter 20 ordinance amendments public hearing.
Thank you. So we have had extensive conversations at the Planning Commission and Board of Adjustment related to proposed revisions for Chapter 20 over the last 2 months. They have forwarded a recommendation to set the public hearing for their next regular meeting of May 5th for public comment to be engaged and received by the city so we can answer questions of the public and have that formal public hearing for these changes. And I'm available for any questions as it relates to any of them.
Okay, does council have any questions for Mr. Timblin, Mr. Fraley, Councilmember Fraley, Councilmember London, Councilmember Zahn?
Would it, Steve, Mr. Timlin, would it, proper, would it behoove us to have a workshop to go over any of these at any point? Pre-post public hearing? 146 pages is.
For the council.
Yeah, for the council, that's, 146 pages is fine, but it's just a lot of material, right? And packets come out, and we do our best to stay abreast with all committees, above and beyond our various assignments, but perhaps at some point, whether it's this or another one in the future, to have some workshop to give us some insight.
Sure.
Even,
Yeah.
pre-post public hearing. That's all I had.
Okay, Councilmember Hall.
No, I just want to add a couple things. We've been through the 100 and some pages fully twice now with the whole planning and zoning committee, as well as Chris Pence from the county, and just to give a little background to all the residents of Nisswa, why this is going on, who's driving it. It actually started with the previous planning and zoning lady, Bethany. She was the one that really started this momentum several years ago before I was even on council or anybody, as Mark, as many of you know. Working through this whole process with Chris Pence from the county, trying to get it aligned. A lot of the rules were actually contradicting each other. Also, a lot had been put in place or had been left in place forever. And so just still working through the steps on trying to clean them up, change them, update them with current times and our current, forgive me, what's the thing we have with the city?
The what?
Our document that we work off.
Oh, the ordinance? Oh, the
Thank you.
comprehensive plan.
Thank you. To match and align with the comprehensive plan. Well, that's background. A lot of people don't know why this is being done, but that's why they're being done. So, by all means, yeah. If you guys want to go through it, I'll probably sit it out since I've done it twice,
Yeah.
but, yeah.
I
so
can't see.
Otherwise,
Words are too small. Okay, well, I agree with council members on, I think a workshop at some point might be useful because we are gonna have to vote on it as a council.
Sure.
And it would be good to actually like have the color commentary, right?
Yeah.
Because you guys work so closely with it. The rest of us haven't, just so we know what we're actually voting on.
Yeah. I would just recommend to do that as soon as possible then,
Sure.
just to keep those momentum and it doesn't stall out at this point because it's all been reviewed.
That's fair.
Yeah, just to
Okay.
keep going.
All right, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to proceed with the Chapter 20 ordinance amendments public hearing as presented.
Do we have a second? Okay, motion by Councilmember Zahn, second by Councilmember London. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, motion carries. Stephen, you're still up with the zoning map amendment, item number 4 under new business.
Thank you. So last month we did have a applicant approach the city for a zoning map amendment down West Linden. The planning commission is forwarding a recommendation to city council to approve that zoning map amendment from open space residential to shoreland residential for 2 parcels, 28220715 and 28220716.
Okay, do we have any questions for council, for Mr. Timblin? Okay, I would entertain a motion.
And we will need 2 motions, one to approve the amendment, and then we will need one to publish the summary.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Hall, second by Councilmember London. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Okay, motion carries. And then we need a second motion. Ms. Wentler?
Yes, to publish the summary.
I'll make a motion that we publish the summary.
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Fraley, second by Councilmember Hall. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Okay, motion carries. And then, Mr. Timblin, number 5, driveway access.
Yeah, so this application, the city attorney and city staff had met with the applicant for development of a driveway access on an unopened platted right of way. So we are looking at the plat of Gull Lake Shores, a historic document that dedicated for public use forever, a few corridors that went through there. These parcels that the applicant is approaching the city for are landlocked, the only access being that 40-foot strip of Wild Rice Landing, as depicted on the plat. So we've hosted a DRT meeting with city staff and city attorney and the applicant about what that might look like if we were to allow them to develop that driveway upon that corridor, resulting in 7 recommendations of potential conditions that might outline protections for the city and allowance for that applicant.
Okay, do we have any questions for Mr. Timblin, Councilmember Fraley? Nothing? Anyone? Okay, I would entertain a motion.
Well, there's a motion necessarily here.
No, there isn't for this one?
No, there really isn't. I mean,
Okay.
this is unique, right? This is a platted right of way that's never been built out. The Curtis family wants to get access to a lot that they're developing there. We don't want to build a road necessarily for this. So the concept is for the city to give the Curtises, and across the street, if it turns out to be a license agreement essentially to build this driveway, protect the city from responsibility for maintaining it, et cetera. So that document's not prepared yet. What we would like your approval is to go forward with the concept, prepare the agreement that we need for David to sign off on so he can get constructing that. I don't know that that agreement needs to get in front of the council for a motion. I hope you'd give Stephen and I and Tom Blommer the latitude to go ahead and just get that agreement drafted and get it signed. This is more just about bringing the concept to you so that you know that we're talking about giving a license agreement across a platted roadway that has not been developed.
So can we just motion to give you guys the latitude?
Yes.
So moved.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Zahn, second by Councilmember Fraley. Any additional discussion or questions from council? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, motion carries. But then, Mr. Pearson, we have it, driveway access agreement is number 6.
Part and parcel. of what
Part
we
and
just
part.
discussed.
Okay, sounds good. So we can move on. All right, number 7, zoning violation complaint. Mr. Pearson, I will turn this over to you.
Thank you. I populated your packet with an explanation of what this is and what I'm recommending in response to it. Because of the nature of the situation, it's difficult for your city planner, who's also zoning enforcement responsibilities, to investigate this complaint and come up with some conclusions related to the complaint. And if there's a violation there, proposed enforcement action if there is one. So I took the liberty of seeking a third-party independent contractor quote to do this work. You've got that in your packet. If you make a motion to approve this, then there would be a short independent contractor agreement with that third party in order to investigate this complaint and then report to the council.
Okay, does council have any questions for Mr. Pearson? Council members on?
It's $5,500. In your opinion, Mr. Attorney, would it be would it be acceptable, prior to us pulling the trigger on that now? I agree with your, assessment, being objective and non-biased. I mean, it's right, I believe. But would it be appropriate to have our city planner, excuse me, our planning and zoning, director to be able to make a preliminary look into it to provide an assessment that there may or may not be prior to us pulling the trigger, and if there may be, then perhaps pull the trigger so it's done fairly. This is rather unprecedented, I believe, based on your comments as well.
Difficult spot for him to be in because whatever the conclusion is from an investigation is going to be unpopular with somebody. And so listen, this is at your pleasure what you want to do with this. This is a problem that developed and it's a potential solution. If you instruct your city planner, notwithstanding that, to make a quote unquote probable cause determination on this, you can certainly direct him to do that and sidestep this process that I've suggested.
I have a question. Well, one, Mr. Timlin, would you feel uncomfortable with what Councilmember Zahn just brought up for a discussion point?
I would not, no. You guys hired me to do an objective job and I would deliver on that.
Second question I have, because I want to make sure we're being fair to everyone here. The council member that this complaint is filed about, is he allowed to opine on this, vote on this motion tonight? Because I don't want to be unfair, right?
I will sustain from everything moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah, and listen, if based on what Steven just said, you want him to go forward to dig into this and you want to discard this option, that's fine.
Oh, I was just asking a question.
Or any pride of ownership and
hear
suggesting
from-
that it's just it's a potential solution if you wanted to entertain it.
Okay, let me go to Councilmember London next.
I would have no problem with Steve, taking an initial look at it and see if there's really something there.
Councilmember Fraley?
Personally, I think, if, let's say it were me and I was sitting up here, I think I would want an outside entity looking at this consulting, but if the council feels like we move forward with our own staff in this, then so be it.
Councilmember London, you have something else?
Steve's got a lot of integrity and I feel that he would do a good job. He would complete a report. I think we could take a look at it, could save us $5,500 taxpayer money. And if we can do that, I say, why not?
My only thought on it was similar to what Councilmember Zahn noted when he first spoke, is that the 5,500 does seem like a lot, but I also understand Mr. Pearson's recommendation. So when you see both sides of it, right? Do we have someone from the audience that would like to comment on this item?
I don't.
Yeah, please come forward.
My name is Sean Hansen. I'm not a resident, but I am ingrained in this community. So what I'd like to know first and foremost is this a witch hunt after one of your council people? Because if it is, then it needs to stop. It's as embarrassing as all of the crap that's out on next door about every single one of you at some point or another. But if this is strictly a witch hunt to make shame to one of your council people, that needs to stop. So how do you even go about knowing that this is just a bunch of crap that has been posted by someone? Because if he doesn't get his way this time, he's going to try something else. And he's going to keep digging and he's going to keep driving. And I certainly wish, because that gentleman is also not a member of this community, that he would direct his efforts somewhere else and stop posing all of you against each other every single day. It's a witch hunt.
Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Wait, Councilmember Fraley.
I don't have social media, so I don't know what's going on, but you said this is being, are you saying that this is being dished out on social media?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then my point is
I'm embarrassed to see it because it's embarrassing as a community.
well, I'd be more inclined than to going with someone outside.
Okay, Councilmember London, do you have something?
I agree with what she's got to say. It appears to be a witch hunt. And these things are on social media. I don't agree with what I'm reading and seeing on there. And I don't accept it as being truthful. And it's very, very unfortunate. Nobody wins in a situation like this.
Okay, do you have anything else, Councilmember Zahn?
Nothing more to add.
Okay, I don't either. Do we have a motion from council as it relates to either considering the path that our city attorney, Mr. Pearson, has recommended with an outside consultant at a flat fee of 5,500, or having Mr. Timlin do some initial findings and then,
Yeah, I'm happy to make a
Okay.
motion on that. Prior to, I agree with the city attorney's assessment. If anybody's read his memo, it's clear. And Stephen, I hope you don't take it as any offense. It's just a situation that is potentially complicated because it's a city council member. So let's, in my opinion, allow him the opportunity to have some ability to find any probable cause, and if so, then to be able to bring that report back to the council at the May meeting for us to then make a determination from there for a third-party review. So with that, my motion is just such.
do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Zahn, second by Councilmember London. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Oh,
Thank you. Oh.
I need Joe to actually vote that he
Abstain?
abstains.
Oh,
Abstain.
okay. All right. Thank you, Stephen.
You're welcome.
Okay, next up, we have Parks, Aniswa Lake Park Restroom Facility Step Station. Ms. Moon Peterson, we will turn it to you.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. Your next two items here are for the Nisswa Lake Park Bathroom Addition, which is a part of the Gull Lake Trail project. Just while I have an open mic, I do want to let everyone know that the construction has started. So you will see clearing and grubbing and activity at Nisswa Lake Park. So if you plan to use the park, please use caution. As it pertains to item number 8, this is for a step station. I can let Tom or Dave speak a little more to it, but this is an easement from ourselves to ourselves for utilities.
Okay, do you have anything to add?
Sure, it's just being done to facilitate this through the plan approval through the state.
Okay, any questions for Ms. Moon Peterson or Mr. Reese from council? Okay, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the Nisswa Lake Park Restroom Facility Step Station easement as presented.
Do we have a second? Okay, motion by Councilmember Fraley, second by Councilmember London. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next up, Nisswa Lake Park Restroom Facility Construction.
Yep, so you have a proposal from Woodseth in there for construction observation. This is a fairly complicated project and definitely a tight timeline. So you have their proposal there. Woodseth can speak to help answer any questions. The one thing I do want to note is that there may be a portion of this that may not be able to be covered by grant funds because only 20% of the total project can be covered by grant funds. So being that we have 2 ongoing projects, it's still a little bit of a moving target. So I just want to let you know, we have talked to Public Works about what they might be able to oversee with some of the sewer and things like that. But just being mindful of that going into this.
Okay, anything to add? No
Questions?
questions? Okay, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Nisswa Lake Park restroom facility construction observation proposal as presented.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Fraley, second Councilmember London. Any additional discussion?
Just real quick, do you know the timeline on that?
The grant expires June 30th. Right now, the toilet delivery is anticipated for right after Memorial. There is a lot of permits, and that's gonna be the one kind of question mark at this time. Dave might have some more to add or
And
not.
that's why the easement was conveyed.
All right, thank you.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, the pickle, Mr. Walleen, new chairs for the bar.
All right, so we've been kind of kicking this can down the road for about a year. And so there's some bids in your packet that get you gaming. The gentleman's local. He does we had the one chair that he brought, it broke. He was there the next day with a different chair, fixed it. Everything was fine. I did have a donation from the Nisswa Lions for $10,000 to help with the costs of those chairs. But due to gaming, it couldn't come out of gaming, so now it's back on us. So, but I believe that we have quite a bit of money in our CIP. So a lot that
Correct.
it's gonna come right out of there. So I need a motion on that. I'm also gonna, are we tax exempt too? On that, so he'll have to,
You're not.
yeah,
The pickle is not.
right, so it'll be the 22,000 plus tax, so.
Okay, do we have any questions for Mr. Walleen? I'll start at this end first. Councilmember Hall,
Are the chairs comfortable?
Very,
Yeah.
yeah.
Councilmember Zahn.
We've talked about this in the past, but would you be willing to kick this can down the road one more month for the sole reason of us waiting to get this report back from Delaney on your part as well?
So that, and I was gonna bring that up. I think that's a great idea.
So yes?
They can sit on the chairs one more month.
It will be 2, because their report is not going to be done until June.
That's fine.
Is that okay?
I think that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd like to make a motion to table this until the June regular meeting? Yeah, June
Do we have
already.
a second?
Okay.
I didn't hear a second.
Do we have a second?
Oh, okay. Motion by Councilmember Zahn, second by Councilmember Hall. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Okay, motion carries. And then Terry, you also have, you are in need of a motion to approve payments for a walk-in cooler repairs.
Correct. So the walk-in cooler is 1971. That's how old the compressors are, or the evaporator is in there. I've had these gentlemen, Conrad Mechanical there. I think he's been there, what, 3 times?
Conrad Abramo?
Yep, to the tune of about $1,200 each time to fix it. Yep, so, and do with the health department, it's time to redo the inside. And we're gonna have high tech come in, put FRP, I call it milk board, but it's FRP on the inside. And I needed a motion for that.
I have a question.
Let's see if there's any questions first,
Okay.
Councilmember Zahn.
Would that $10,000 from the Lions be able to cover this?
I'm not sure.
I don't
Could ask.
think the Lions can donate to the pickle. I think that is the bigger piece of that.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
Yes.
So the follow-up question to that would be, is this necessary to do prior to this report coming out from Delaney?
Well, it's been fixed for today. Yeah. I think it's a good idea to wait.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. I'd like to make a motion to table this until the June meeting.
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Zahn, second by Councilmember Hall. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay,
I can,
do you want to cover, or who wants to cover Public Works?
I can fill in for Tom.
Okay, we'll have council members on fill in for items number 12 and 13.
All right, I am the Public Works Director for the next couple ones. Tom and the city has received a proposal from Lakes Pavement Maintenance to provide road crack sealing services for 2026. He did receive 2 proposals. This proposal is the lowest price by about 10,000. Copies for the proposals are attached in your packet, and it's typical annual preventative maintenance for the roads. Looking for a motion.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Okay, motion by Counselor Hall, second by Counselor London. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. And then the next item, the joint city Nisswa school design agreement.
We're gonna let Dave speak on behalf of
Thought I
that.
was a Public Works Director.
Okay, we'll go to Mr. Reese.
All right,
Okay, Jesse.
Mr. Reese, Public Works Director, please fill us in.
Okay, so the keywords there are info to follow. It's going to follow not tonight, but farther down the line. So we intended to have a final design proposal for Lakers Lane joint project with Nisswa Elementary School tonight, but we are recommending that we follow up with a comprehensive project that combines with the planned 2027 Church Street improvements.
Yes, and when it was discussed, I believe that it makes sense. I think it's better on a constructability standpoint to have them happen simultaneously.
Yes.
I took the pleasure of calling Emma. Should have stopped in for some cheese curds, but called and walked through that. And simply for the businesses on that portion of Lakers Lane, back-to-back years, summers, their busy season, their business season, it'd be tough. So I think that this makes sense long-term, and especially with your comments, Dave, in regards to the blessing from the school district and wanting to make the right move and not rush. So
correct.
There should be no council motion for this.
Not tonight.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the rest of council before we move on? Nope. Okay. All right. Item number 14 is labor attorney. So council had motioned, I think earlier this year, or maybe the end of last year, to go out for an RFP for labor attorneys for the city. We are currently using a firm out of the Twin Cities called Flaherty and Hood. Prior to that, before I was sworn in as mayor, the city used a firm out of the Twin Cities called Kennedy and Graven. And so in our packet, there were 3
Yes.
firms that brought back, that submitted to the RFP. Ms. Wentler, do you have anything additional to add there?
Sure, I can speak a little bit here. So we received 3 quotes that are in your packet. Mark Fraley and Joe Hall and I spoke on behalf of all of these, and our recommendation is to continue working with Flattery and Hood for the next year due to some continuity and just a good working relationship with them, I'll say from staff perspective.
Any questions from council? Okay, I would entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the RFP from Flattery and Hood to assume 2026 duties as labor attorney.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Zahn. I heard Councilmember Hall and London at the same time, but I'll throw this one to Councilmember Hall. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next up, we have temporary compensation adjustment for interim city admin.
This is my request. I feel like we're in no end in sight to filling a position to get some help for me. And I spend a lot of time here, a lot of time, and pay is not everything. But I'm really trying. So.
Okay, so I guess the question I would have is, because I didn't see that like step grade chart in the packet. So I don't know.
It's noted on the bottom of my memo.
Oh. When the council motioned to give you an increase in September, do you know, because I don't have this information, where were you currently at in your finance specialist in terms of your hourly rate versus where things stand today and then where this increases? Do you have that information?
I don't know, 30 something. I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, I think it'd be helpful to have that information just to know what the differential total request is.
I will say that the pay scale that I am recommending is within the pay grade of the city administrator. So I'm not asking for anything above him, what is already in the scale. And I am still doing the work of 3 people. I do have a deputy clerk who is doing fantastic, but that takes time to train people.
I'm not disputing that you're working
No,
hard.
I'm not-
And we've
no.
talked about that, right? That quite honestly, this council needs to come up with a solution, because if it's gonna take us until September or October to get an administrator in here, it's not right to leave you carrying this huge burden then for what will be a full calendar year. I just think,
It's been a year
yeah.
for additional duties.
So I don't think that's right to you. I don't think it's right to the citizens of Nisswa. I certainly think that it would behoove us to consider getting together sooner rather than later to talk about, while we're waiting to drive forward on this administrator position, is there some kind of a interim solution to offer her some assistance, whether it's a temp? Maggie and I had talked about in the office the other week, maybe bringing on a city clerk, right? Because then you don't have to go through a search firm, something to help alleviate her. I do understand and believe in, when you're putting in the work, that compensation does follow. My only hesitation here is if we already did a $30 per hour raise roughly, we don't know the exact amount. That's equivalent to about $62,000 a year on an annual salary and an increase. And now this other increase is adding another 12,000 to it. Unless I'm doing the math wrong, if you take $30 an hour times 80 hours, that's how many people based on a 40-hour work week. But council may have other perspectives, so I will let other people chime in. Councilmember Fraley?
In order of us to get a clerk to help out, does that just have to be advertised?
Yep,
How long do you think that process would take?
a couple months, most likely.
I remember last year when we went through this, I thought the agreement was to accept the position, accept what we were paying. And I know this has taken a long time, but I think, one, we need to find some help. And two, I think personally, just where I'm at, yes, compensation needs to be for more work. But I think the compensation was there in the beginning.
Councilmember's on. Oh, Councilmember London, sorry.
Maggie wears a lot of hats. She does a heck of a good job, and she gives it her best. She's been here a long time. She's got the experience, she's got the training. I think she should financially be compensated and get her some more help.
Okay, Councilmember's on.
I don't believe that bringing in temp help for a temp basis is going to be to our advantage, because it's going to require not just Maggie, but Jane's time, perhaps the rest of the staff to be able to get, say it's an intern city administrator, say it's an intern clerk, say it's an intern. It's gonna take, quite a bit of additional burden and lift. My only question to you, respectfully to the opinions that have been shared already, and I don't think I disagree with any of them. I deal with compensation discussions with employees all the time in my business. I hired somebody actually 3 months ago and they came to me and said they wanted a pay raise. And I said, well, your employment agreement was, your job offer / employment agreements for a calendar year. There's no guaranteed raises. What more job duties are you taking on to warrant and justify that? And they gave me a couple and I reviewed it and I said, you know what, you're right. So it's justified. But my question for you is, do you believe, regardless of this compensation, okay, do you believe that if we are successful on the search, Maggie, do you believe that you have bandwidth and stamina to sustain where you're at right now if this search does not land a bona fide candidate that accepts, relocates, and starts, say, August, September, which is realistically what we're looking at right now? Possibly?
So what's your specific question? Like, do I have the bandwidth to make it through August or September?
Do you have, are you, I can see the fatigue on you, right? I think we all can, and a lot of us in this, on this council, a lot in the community, we can see that this is a big lift. We're damn proud of you. We're grateful for you. You've stuck through with us through a lot of crap. And the dollars are one thing, right? But I, as a human being, want to ask you, are you able to sustain at the current rate until we land this city administrator? And is there anything else that we need to consider that you would give us a recommendation for versus just this compensation?
About 90 more vacation days after we fill the position.
Terry, lock her in that new cooler and see what happens at the inventory.
Ah.
Is there a temp forgot who brought it up. Is there a need for a temp role from somebody? I mean, we hire interns at my organization often, literally they're processing paper.
The hard thing is you have to train that person.
I acknowledge it. I'm just saying though, but is there anything that we can think outside of the box while we're all together here and this topic's broached? What can we do?
I've even thought about reaching out to, we've had some fellow clerks in the area that have retired to just say, hey, can you come do this for a day or 2 days, whether it's a council packet or something that it's minimal hours, but it helps. But there are just so many things that pop up that you just don't know that need to be done because I haven't done payroll in 10 years. You know, like those things, all the requirements and the filings and those things, they just come up and I am in triage mode every single day. I canceled my 2-week vacation, cost me $800.
Let's not put her on the spot.
I missed out on a bunch of family functions that nobody else has to say no to. I do. Because I care about the city and I care about the community.
Okay, Councilmember Hall.
Yeah.
Let's.
Can I just make a motion?
Yes.
So the motion would be, we're asking for step 20 at $66.80 an hour. I would make a motion that we round it up to an even 70.
Okay,
I'll second it.
all right, any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Motion carries. Okay, thank you. All right, next up, we have the cannabis low potency license for Schaefer's Food. I don't know if anyone's presenting that.
It's just, this is a standard requirement for renewals for all cannabis for those who sell this. So the
Okay.
next four are pretty just, I would say contingent on background checks and that all their paperwork is complete and turned in.
Okay, all right, I would entertain a motion then. We'll just go through the four of these.
City, if I may.
Yep.
City attorney, we've packaged some of these up in the past to do one broad sweep motion. No,
No.
not this one. All
Okay.
right. I'd like to make a motion to approve the cannabis low potency license for Schaefer's Foods as presented, pending background checks.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Zahn, second by Councilmember Fraley. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Okay, motion carries. Next up is for the Pickle Factory.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the cannabis low potency license for the pickle factory. And there should be no background check, right? Who are we background checking? Okay,
Okay, do we have a second?
Terry.
A second.
Okay, motion by Councilor Zahn, second by Councilmember Fraley. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Okay, motion carries. Next is for the Spirits in Nisswa.
You know, Terry, I bet you've been here so long, they never did a background check on you when you first came here. I'd like to make a motion to approve cannabis low potency license for the Spirits of Nisswa as presented.
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilor Zahn, second by Councilor Fraley. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Okay, motion carries. The last one is for Big Axe.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the cannabis low potency license for Big Axe Brewery, pending background check on Chris French.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Zahn, second by Fraley. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Okay, motion carries. Do we need to go in a closed session? We do. Okay.
Yes,
I
we
don't
do.
have the exact language if someone wants to.
I'd like to make a motion to move to closed session pursuant to Minnesota statute 13D.03 for union negotiations.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay, motion by Counselor Zahn, second by Councilmember Hall. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. And we apologize, everyone. We're going into a closed session, so the room has to empty.
You said 9:30.